Watch me ride.
Hey everybody, so the last video ended a little bit abruptly. That would be because I filmed an outro but actually forgot to press record. I was that tired. I'm actually now at the end of week 2 on this, but when you consider that I not only do this but I also make all the videos and edit all of those, which requires me to, you know, work from about 9 o'clock in the morning till about 4 o'clock in the morning every single day, Monday to Friday. Yeah, I'm quite amazed I managed to get this far. Anyway, the wings are basically done. There's a couple of little clean-up bits just in some tight corners that I need to get to that I missed yesterday. But generally, the wings are done and I'm really happy with them. They're simplistic, but they look sort of natural and not natural at the same time, in my opinion. That's a big thing I must sort of point out. This is my opinion. This thing that I'm making, I do see this as an artistic thing, not just making a thing. So I choose to do things in the way that I choose to do them. And I get a suggestion from you guys, which of course I know you're just meaning it as a suggestion, but do keep in mind that when it's something that's artistic, it's very personal to the person who's doing it, so they're going to want to do it a certain way. It's not solving a problem, it's trying to make something. I've spent a good proportion of yesterday evening looking at images of dragonflies, that's my image by the way, and how their legs work, because I think I'm going to put it in that sort of a stance. But I've been trying to work out the leg lengths of dragonflies. I'll get onto that in a minute. You see, I've been measuring like the lengths and stuff and trying to work out what's like different between different species, and I found this person who basically ripped a dragonfly into pieces and scanned it with a flatbed scanner. Very strange but very useful. But what it's meant is that I've come down to one little equation, which is basically a percentage that each part of the leg should be lengthwise compared to body length. So I've got the individual lengths of each part of the leg, and then what the overall length is compared to the length, and then what percentage. So we know the third leg is 46% the length, that one's 30% the length, and that one's 28% the length. So that is large, medium, and a little bit smaller. So I need to measure this and then work out what percentage makes the length of the legs, then cut that rod stock off, and then I can work out where the bends need to go, because the way I'm going to make these, I'll cut the total length and I'll put the bends in for the legs. And I'll do those in pairs so I get them the same. There will be some tweaking later when it comes to actually getting it to sit flat and stuff. Well, not necessarily flat, I'll get to that. One rod's going to make the whole leg, and then it seems like it's just the top section that will need thickening, so I'll put another bar on the top section, I'll weld that on, and then tidy it up into one piece, and then that will become sort of the upper part of the leg, and then the next two pieces down can just be thin, I think. I don't see any reason why not. And then I've got to work out some way of attaching those to the underside of the body. The other interesting thing that I didn't realise is that on a dragonfly, the first set, and it's also helpful as to why I've got this much neck, is the first set of legs are actually attached to its neck, basically. The next set are at the front edge of the body, and the next set are kind of underneath, so it'll be set 3, set 2, and set 1 will connect right up here on the neck. I've studied wildlife for like my entire life. I did wildlife photography and insect photography particularly for like 10 years, and I never noticed that their front legs are attached to their neck. So now we need to measure out and cut the rod stock. Oh, there we go, that was easy. Okay, what I'm going to have to do is work out the percentage difference between this section and this section, going on the measurements that will give me the percentages that I can cross over to this. There may be some amazing mathy way of doing this that's a lot easier, but I'm just going to do it the way that I know that's going to work. So I will spare you that, and I'll rejoin in a second when I've actually done it. Okay, so what I just did was I worked out what percentage each section was of the overall length. Then I got the overall length of each leg, which I've already predetermined, versus the length, and then I worked out what percentage of that length made up each section, which means that when I bend these to these measurements, it should come out in the same proportions as the drawing. Please note that the drawing is not in proportion, because this is 4.8 and this is 6 and this is very clearly shorter. Oh, by the way, I do realise that that doesn't add up to 15.5, it only adds up to like 15. But that's okay, because there's a bit of leeway. It's just got to be close enough. Now I've got to decide how I'm going to bend them. They need to be quite tight turns. I'm probably going to practice with a piece and see how tight a turn we get. I currently, at this point that I'm doing this, the next 3 videos aren't online, and I've got a feeling some people are going to have said, because a lot of the videos I've filmed in the past couple of days have been bending rod, and a lot of people are probably going to have said, Spicy, you need to heat that up, it'll make it much easier. I actually found that if you heat it up, it makes the bends more unpredictable, but I will most likely have to use heat on the lower ones. Maybe, I don't know, but let's just do this one, and I'm actually going to use that as a guide, because that was about right. So if I get that in the right place, put that there's my guide, and then this should all work out. Just beyond and back. Yeah, see, I can't bend those out. If I'd left extra bar on and then done the last bend, that would have made that a lot easier, but I didn't. I've learned my lesson. I should have done that. First 2 legs done. These are very hot. I think what I'm going to do to mount the legs is I'm actually going to drill some 6mm holes into this housing, and then I can slot the leg into it, shunk, and then I can do a weld around it, and that will also, not only will that give me a really good connection, and I can choose the height that the leg comes out, I can also build up some material around it and then smooth it off, so I think that is actually going to be the best way. Another shout out to Bugger Lugs who cracked into my new drills, made that a lot easier. Okay, so we've got the legs, drilled all the holes in the body, so let's put them in. These are going to go a bit further in than they're supposed to, because they're going to be held out a bit and then welded on, but we'll get an idea. These are all the bits that are going to make up, basically going to get welded on there to thicken that part of the leg. But they're going to need to be sort of shaped a bit, maybe taken down in size a little bit, welded on. There's going to be a lot of welding next. As I say, these legs will have to be bent so they sit right after they're welded. Okay, so there we go. It's pretty close to where it needs to be. I don't know if I'm going to be quite that high in the tail, maybe a bit lower, but as I say, all of those things can be adjusted once these are welded in place, because we've just got to bend the legs basically. But it's starting to look pretty cool. So basically, yeah, I'm going to have to shape each one of these bars to make sure it fits as flat as we can against that. Then pin it down, weld it either end, and then fill the weld on the side. Flip it over, do the same thing, then round the ends off in weld so it all merges together, clean it up, and that'll be done. And then we've got to repeat that 6 times. They're still hot, as you can see. For the front ones, I didn't want to thicken them too much, so I've just actually put a beader weld over and now going to... Oh, that was really hot. Put these to the belt sander and just basically smooth them off and get the shape right. Probably reduce these down a little bit so not quite so fat, but generally that went really well. And you see I was able to get the heat in and get it to pull out. It's good. yeah, that makes a huge difference. I have left the end as is because, as I say, it's got to go in about there, and then I can build some weld up around it. Well, there we go, the legs are basically done. The next stage is welding the legs on, bending them to the right place, getting the feet straight. As you can see, this is not sitting right, definitely not sitting right. Then getting the wings on, which I think I'm going to use the same drill holes weld in, and then do something to emulate the muscles. But yeah, basically that's it. It looks bloody awesome. I'm really, really happy with this. So there we go, thank you for watching. If you feel like supporting this channel, please do. There's links in the description, there's many different ways, from t-shirts and hoodies to key tags, and even the PayPal, which is, you know, some people send me a couple of quid, and it helps go into making more videos. So thank you, and I'll catch you next time.